All right, so Silvio writes in, he says, hey Josh, what happens to my Social Security benefits if I retire at 62, i.e. no longer work, but don't take my benefits until I'm 67 or 70? And that's a great question, which I highly recommend you read my book. You can retire on Social Security, all right? And we're going to read Chapter 5, Julie's Real-World Social Security Statement. All right. Let me introduce you to Julie. She's 60 years old and actually a client of mine who gave me permission to use her stuff. Obviously, Julie is not her real name. The very first page of her most recent Social Security states in large font that she'll make $1,916 a month at her full retirement age. The next page gives us the benefit estimates. At your current earnings rate, if you continue to work until your FRA, your benefit will be $1,916. Age 70, your payment will be about $2,500, and age 62, your benefit will be $1,282. So again, at your current earnings rate, if you continue to work until such and such age, this is what your benefit will be. All right. So if you continue to work till 62 and take your benefit at 62, your benefit will be $1,282 a month. If you continue to work until 67 and take your benefit at 67, your benefit will be $1,916 a month. If you continue to work till 70 at your current rate and take your benefit at 70, your benefit will be $2,513 a month. But, all right, so pretty simple, huh? But it's not, of course. So what are the assumptions Social Security is making to come up with these numbers? It's incredibly important to understand. They're estimating your benefit amounts are using your average earnings over your working lifetime. So they're going to say, what did you make in 2017 and 18? I wrote this in 2019, and we're going to assume that's what you make in 2019 and going forward. So they're saying at your current yearly statement from the last 2 years, we're going to assume those are the 2 years you make going forward. I cannot stress this enough because when I was working at USAA, I was making over $200,000 a year. So in 2018, when I quit my crap little job to start this business, I had zero income. But my statement I received in 2018 was under the premise that I'd make, and that back then it was like $139,000, which was the maximum for Social Security. So it said, if you continue to make this until your full retirement age, your benefit will be, it was like $3,000 a month or something like that. All right, but the following year, I made zero. I made no money. So they said, if you continue to not make any money, your benefit will be $2,200 a month. Does that make sense? Now, I'm 50 now, so I was like 47 back then. So it basically said I had enough earnings already accumulated that even if I made not one more red cent, I would still have $2,200 a month at my full retirement age. Pretty interesting, huh? And yet it said if I continued to work till my full retirement age and made the max, I'd only have $3,000 a month, something like that. It's a pretty big, $800 a month difference. But even if I never earned another dime, I would still get $2,200 a month. Why? Because how Social Security works, and we're going to go into, I got a right here, how Julie's Social Security benefits is calculated. What they do is we say, you're going to have a hard time seeing this. They take a spreadsheet. They say that's Julie's earnings record going back to 1977 all the way up to 2017 is when we stopped, because this is, again, I had written this in 2019. So in 1977, she made $3,331, but they take an index factor. So $3,331. That's the amount of money she made in 1977. But what they do is they index that at 5.29. So they say the average wage index increased by over 500%. So what? That's essentially the cost of living adjustment. It's not a cost of living adjustment. It's the wages increased, inflation for wages from 1977 until the day when I had written this book. It was 5.29. You times this by that, and you get 17,642. So her Social Security statement is based on, this is her average indexed monthly earnings. You take the top 35 of your years to get your average indexed monthly earnings. So they're saying in 1977 you made $3,300 and those dollars, which is the equivalent of $17,642 today. All right, 1984 you made 0 times 0, so you made nothing. All right, 1995 you made $8,839. They times that by your average wage index, your indexed amount, which is based on the year for which you turned 60, by the way. And they said that's 2.09 was her indexing amount. So in 1995, that was the equivalent of $18,531. All right, and they keep doing that and doing that and doing that. Now in 1999, she made $38,521. Her index amount was 1.699, which equals 65,000. All right, and so what's happening here? So she has well over 35 years of earnings. All right, we'll just say what happened was we're going to say this right here is her lowest amount of her index earnings. That's the lowest amount, right? And so some years she has 65, some years she has 17,000, but she has no less than the equivalent of $17,000, none. I hope that makes sense. So what we do is we take the top 35. In this case, we got, what do we got here? We take her top, can you see over here? Top 35 years of index earnings. We add them all up. So in Julie's case, and again, it's in my book, which you should buy, she had I saw it here right there. She had, what was her total amount? $1.853,630. That was her total indexed earnings. $1.853,630. All right. Then what we do is we divide by 420. And that gives us her AIME of 4413. Now, I'm not going to get too deep in this here, but this is what her benefit is based on right here, 4413. So the question comes, if Julie works another year, all right, so in this case, Silvio is 62. We're going to say he has a benefit of 1853. That's his total 35 years of indexed earnings. I cannot tell you how important it is for you to understand this, my friends. It's all in my book right here. And people say, why do I need to know? Because you need to know if you need to keep working. All right. So remember, his indexed earnings, we take his top 35 and we sum them up, which gives us this amount right here. We divide that amount by 420 because that's 35 years, and that gives us 4413. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to say, okay, Josh, Silvio, he thinks he needs to work again to add to his Social Security benefit. And this year he's going to make $50,000, all right? So he's going to make $50,000 this year. So he's going to add to this $1853 by $33,000 because he's going to replace the $17,000 from 1977. He's going to replace that with the $50,000 he's going to make when he's 63 years old. Now the $50,000, once you hit 60, is no longer indexed. It's just what it is. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to say, okay, the difference between these two, this is so simple if you think about it, is what's that, $33,000, all right? So what we do is we take this $33,000, we add it to this guy right here. I mean, it's literally that simple. Where's my calculator? Right here. I mean, this is how insane it is to continue to work for an increasing benefit of Social Security, unless you haven't worked that long. If you got a lot of years of work, man, it doesn't make sense. So we're going to add $33,000 to it. So now we have 1886630. Divide that by 420, and our AIME is 4491. So what's happening here? Her benefit, or in this case, Silvio's benefit, or Julie's, doesn't really matter, is going to be, I mean, what is that? So if you look at what the benefit was for Julie, her benefit on 4413 was $1,949. Yeah. So her total PIA, which is her benefit that she gets for her Social Security at her full retirement age, was 1949. All right. So this extra work will get 833 plus. Bear with me just a sec. We'll figure this out. Okay, we'll figure this out. It's crazy. So 4491 minus 833. Now 4491 minus 833 times 0.32. 1170 plus 833. $2,003. All right, so for Silvio to work that extra year and make $50,000 as opposed to which is going to increase his total indexed earnings by $33,000 is going to pay him the equivalent at his PIA of, what's that, $54 more a month. $54 more a month. Now think about it like this. Now it's $54 more a month. I get it for the rest of his life. $54 more a month for the rest of his life. We'll just say he lives another 20 years. That's 240 months. $54 for 240 months. You know how much that pays him? $54 for 240 months. $12,960. So he worked an extra year in a crappy old job. You can't see that. For $50,000 to get the equivalent of we'll just say $13,000 more in total Social Security benefit. Now look, if you like what you do, more power to you. But if you're freaking miserable, is that actually worth it? No, of course it's not worth it. If he did it for another year and you replaced another low job, so say he worked another job for $50,000, all right? And so this next $50,000 replaces this. So now we're talking $32,000 more. It'll pay him another $50 a month or so. So that extra 2 years of work, in this case just 1 year, gives him the $54 more for Social Security. But Josh, you got to look at the big picture. Okay, tell me the big picture, connoisseur. Well, he didn't have to spend down his IRA. Okay. He was able to save more money. Okay. He does have a better benefit. Okay, that has a cost of living adjustment. Okay. If he's miserable at his crappy old job, how many years has it taken off his life to get an extra $54 a month? On top of the fact he has a little bit more to save. On top of that, I grant you, he has more reserves because he didn't have to spend down some of his money. Is that worth it? Hell no, it's not worth it. It's not. Now, I explain this all in my book. You can retire on Social Security. You should get the friggin' book, man. The thing is $5.99 and it's 99 cents on Kindle or something. I don't even know what it is. $5.99 for the hard copy. 99, maybe $2 on Kindle. I can't remember. It explains it all in here, man. It explains it all in here. Buy the book. So anyway, if you have 35 years, right, and you're making $60,000 a year today, the likelihood of your $60,000 replacing much of your previous past earnings is just not going to mean that much. I mean, I've been working since I was 14. Now, some of those years only made a couple $100 and I was washing dishes, getting paid on the table and whatnot. But still, for me, when I'm 60 years old, to continue to work to replace years that I was making $25,000, it's just not going to add that much to my benefit. It's just not. And if I'm hating job and I really want to jump off a bridge, it doesn't make sense. Hope this helps. That's a good question. We'll see. I'd love to hear your thoughts.